the emergency ward. That was where my son was given a place to actually lie. So I had to go and have my bath because throughout the whole night and I had not taken my bath. But as I was about to leave, it was around 11 a.m., almost an hour to my son's demise. My wife prompted me that no, I shouldn't go. So I even didn't notice it. Even when he couldn't speak, that my wife saw that he was off. I tried to revive him, that Leonard, get up, Leonard, get up, Leonard, get up, Leonard, get up, but to no avail. I saw that my son was off. It's a terrible experience, my brother. I've lost my first son. I'm so...
What's your son? I don't know.
My son.
Your son.
Well, Sambedu is father of the KNUST SHS students who died earlier this week, and he was speaking on the station Accra-based 3FM. Well, teacher unions kicking against the interdiction of the headmistress of the KNUST Senior High School, Felicia Samwa Dankwa, following the death. The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, has described the action as unfair and harsh. They say the health personnel assigned to the institution also have questions to answer. Listen to the General Secretary, Thomas Musa, speaking on Joy Prime TV's morning show, Prime Morning.
In the course of the worker delivering based upon the limited resources and the restrictions and the challenges that the worker has, because he's obligated to obey lawful instruction. If something goes wrong and you think that because you have the right to punish, you quickly go in and start punishing, then you are not being fair. Should the resources have been provided and all the equipment put in place, will that thing happen? My question is, what is the nurse doing there? That nurse, what is she doing there? Or he or she, what is she doing there? So we are saying that, look, it is harsh to the extent that the speed with which the head teacher was suspended. We are asking they should use that same speed to provide all the resources needed to the schools.
Well, President of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Angel Kabonu, also opposed the interdiction of the headmistress. He has been giving details of events leading to the death of the student on PM Express.
Authorities did what was right. They called the parents. In fact, they called the mother of the boy. The mother of the boy indicated that she was a little bit far off from the school and that they should call the father. The father delayed and took over 3 hours in arriving. Before the father arrived, the mother called back and advised that there is medicine in the bag of the student. They gave the student that medicine directed by the mother. The student took that medicine and vomited the medicine. The teachers even helped in getting him some malt to take. He took that malt and vomited until the father arrived. In fact, the father's initial insistence was to take the boy home, but he was advised. Now, looking at the situation and the fact that the situation was getting a bit worse, decided that they take the boy to, I think it was Menshia Hospital or something like that, where the boy died. Now, the boy did not die in the schoolhouse. The situation is that some instruction given to teachers by health practitioners indicates that when you get somebody who is showing symptoms of coronavirus, you do not go about to pick the person or carry the person, but the first thing you have to do is quickly to alert health practitioners who are properly clothed, who are properly trained to come in and hand. That is the directive given to teachers. I have a difficulty with the interdiction of the headmistress. I have a very serious difficulty with the interdiction of the headmistress. And I have been in the Ghana Education Service for a while, and I have never seen any headmaster or headmistress interdicted and it's been able to come back to his or her school. It has never happened in the history of Ghana Education Service. Maybe this may be a novelty. We wait to see. but I disagree with the interdiction of the headmistress.
So you want her reinstated? I mean, won't she be affecting the purity of the investigation?
Well, I don't even see this situation as a situation where she will want to even defend or protect anything, because what actions how did she contribute to the death of the student? Was there something she should have done that she did not do? The schools are attached to health institutions, but are we sure that when the school authority picks the telephone to call that health institution, they have the personnel, enough number of personnel to rise to that school in relation to the burden of responsibilities that they have in the various hospitals? Well, investigation can go on, but I don't see this case as a case where any head of institution will want to interfere with anything.
Well, today the Ashanti Regional Directorate of Education put together a committee to investigate the circumstances surrounding the students' death. Listen to the Regional Director of Education, Mary Owusu-Chow. He's been interacting with my colleague, Erastus Aridonko.
It's been 5 days since the death of the Form 3 business student, which created agitations on campus. And today, calm has returned to the campus of KNUST Senior High School. Now, lectures have started, and so many of the students are in their classrooms having normal lectures. Teachers are teaching. Everything has returned to normalcy. Now, today, this morning, we have seen the Regional Director of Education, Mrs. Acham, and the Oforikro Municipal Director of Education. They are here. Now, it must be noted that the Regional Director of Education is stepping in and acting on behalf of the interdicted headmistress until a committee that is supposed to be set up finishes its work. Now, we understand that today they are waiting for members of CHAS, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools, to come in. They are going to set up a committee. They will have 2 weeks, according to the Regional Director, to finish their investigations and submit a report to the Regional Directorate of Education.
So I'm here waiting for them. They were at Love FM. I think they have finished with the program. So I've called them. They are coming to join me and the municipal director so that we put up the committee, and with the approval of our Director General, we set it moving. We will give them 2 weeks from Monday.
So we are waiting for the committee to be set up, investigations to start, and the findings will determine the next line of action. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaridonko, Kumasi.
Erastus joins me now. Erastus, we understand 2 more teachers have also been interdicted.
Exactly, the senior housemaster and the housemaster, they have been interdicted. Not interdicted per se, but the letter cited says that they are being reposted to the Oporiko Municipal Assembly, and they'll be given different duties. You know, they'll be assigned different duties until the committee finishes its work. And I've been told that this is to create an enabling environment for students who would love to testify before the committee. So all those who have been fingered in this alleged negligence will have to step aside for the committee to come in. The students feel free to testify before the committee.
Erastus, thank you very much. And we're also hearing tonight from the Conference of Heads of Assisted Second Cycle Schools, CHAS. They are committing to learn lessons from this particular tragic incident. You can listen now to the regional president of CHAS, Reverend Father Stephen Owusu-Setre.
Whatever that happened there, I've told you, is very unfortunate. That is not what has been happening in our schools. So we are saying that when a student is sick in school, the school has to take him to the or her to the hospital before even the parent is called to be informed that your ward has been taken to the hospital and this is the situation. So we are going to tighten up whatever that we are doing and then make sure that such a thing will never happen in our schools again. As heads, we have advised ourselves. We are meeting with our housemasters and housemistresses to calm students down, because if you don't take care, you realize that one students of one school have that kind of demonstration, it will run through the schools. And we as heads, we also know, as technocrats, we know. So we are going to meet with our house staff will meet with the students, listen to their grievances, and address them, so that such a thing will not happen again.
Well, it's been established now that the fear of COVID-19 had something to do with this tragic story, although the authorities have confirmed that the cause of death is stomach ulcer. The teachers and the authorities in the school hesitated to take care of the child the way they should have or were expected to because of the fear of COVID. And as you heard the NAGRAT president say, the directive they've been giving when somebody falls ill and with suspicions that it may be due to COVID was that they call the institution, the health facility linked to the school. In the wake of that, we've had NAGRAT and others ask that the schools be closed down. There's a suggestion also tonight that the Ghana Education Service consider establishing a threshold beyond which schools will remain closed. Well, the Deputy Director General for the Ghana Education Service, Dr. Kwabena Tando, says they welcome that particular proposal and it will be considered.
Well, I believe that it is a good recommendation for us to go back to the health professionals and say, what is your advice on thresholds? Rather than studying trends, what is your advice on thresholds? We are not health professionals, so the best thing will be. So I guess it's a great recommendation.
A natural follow-up question, because you're the Deputy Director General, I know you hold regular updates on this. Is it something that you could promise the parents who are asking the question that you will at least consider? Definitely.
I believe that it is something that is worthy, and it's something that we need to be able to have that discussion. As a matter of fact, I am confident that my Director General will also welcome such a conversation. I believe that he would have that conversation with the COVID team as well as with the Ghana Health Service. So I can promise that those conversations will immediately begin, and if there must be specific policy changes, it will be communicated.
And if you're a parent especially, you will know that your children are in school primarily because of the West African Examination Council's final paper, the WASI. Yesterday, West Africa's WAEG's big brother, Nigeria, pulled out of the examinations, of course citing COVID-19 fears. So will Ghana do same as some have called for, following Nigeria's lead? Well, the GES is emphatic tonight that Ghana will go ahead with the WASI examinations. Listen to Dr. Tando.
All of the West African WAEC member countries had all agreed to write the exam in August, September. All of them had agreed. We had communication to that effect. That while it was proposed that Ghana was the one that was going to write a Ghana exam, all of our member countries, in a response from WAEC to the Director General, or through my Director General to the Honorable Minister, was that all of our member countries, and all of our member countries means all 5 countries, had agreed to write the August-September exam. So that's why I asked if this is credible news. Yeah. We have not received any communication officially to the contrary. And usually we receive our communication from WAEC through official channels at the Ghana National Office. And so if there is something in the news media, we would at least wait for official communication. But as far as we are aware, all member countries have agreed. We will wait for official communication from WAEC office on that. But what we do know is that usually... So if this is confirmed, what does it do? It doesn't change anything, because... Ghana will still go ahead with that Nigeria. Because Nigeria has possibly the biggest population. Nigeria is still one of 5 countries. There are 5 members, they all have equal votes. And so we have had instances, for example, in 2013 when we had the Ebola crisis. The rest of the countries, when you have a majority of the countries saying they are going to write an exam, the rest of the country goes ahead. WAEC makes specific arrangements for countries that are unable to write. And so I believe that with Nigeria making that decision, once we receive the communication, it's not going to change our... Ghana will still go ahead with the rest of the WAEC countries. Yes.
Well, that is the Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service there, and still with this COVID-19 pandemic and its effects in Ghana, some health experts tonight warning that Ghana's COVID-19 strategy is failing. Now, latest figures by the Ghana Health Service is the 4th consecutive data release where we're now seeing that Ghana has recorded more COVID-19 cases than Germany, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark combined. So is Ghana in a crisis mode yet? Head of our health desk, who himself is battling COVID-19, has been finding some answers.
I assure you that we know what to do to bring back our economy back to life. What we do not know is how to bring people back to life.
That was President Akufo-Addo's speech as he announced lockdowns in Accra, Kumasi, and contiguous cities at the end of March. That action caught the attention of the international community with praise from the WHO, the World Bank, and in fact, the United Nations.
Every day that the front line of the fight against coronavirus is your front door.
Ghana at this time had just 58 cases of COVID-19 and 3 deaths, all of them Ghanaians who had returned into the country from abroad. But just 4 months down the line, the case is completely different. The restrictions have been significantly relaxed, whilst those still in force, such as the wearing of face masks, social distancing, and hygiene practices, are all being disregarded. Today, cases are almost hitting 23,000 with 129 deaths. But experts say this situation could worsen as hundreds of health workers are also affected, reducing the country's capacity to deal with the virus. At the moment, treatment facilities are stretched beyond capacity, and the impact has been direct on the country. The president himself is in isolation. The Chief Justice, the senior minister, and many others, including health professionals, have had to stay away from work. 2 key government appointees have even died. Now the situation is getting to state institutions. Power producer VRA's facilities at Akuse and Akonsombo have also been affected. The Supreme Court has had to shut down, while the BOST, which oversees the distribution of fuel across the country, has also been affected. Yesterday, the Ghana Education Service confirmed that as many as 13 senior high school students have tested positive just 2 weeks after schools were reopened. And if there are 2 activities driving up the cases, it will be the ongoing political activity and voter registration exercise. Quarter by June, it was a joke, but July has been worse. Are we in the crisis situation yet?
Well, one of the worst hit institutions at the courts, the Supreme Court, yesterday, of course, we told you the story of how many of the cases had to be adjourned. The Chief Justice himself is in isolation. There's a statement on what is going to happen going forward. Elsie.
So, latest from the Supreme Court is that they've given notice that the Supreme Court will sit on all cases listed on Tuesday, 14th July 2020. Thereafter, all cases listed in the Supreme Court will proceed as scheduled. The general public is to take notice, and this is signed by Cynthia Pamela Addo, with the Judicial Secretary.
Okay, so some quick update for you there. Well, Fred Smith, my colleague, also engaged the leader of the Coalition of NGOs in Health, Dr. Gabriel Benaku, on the current situation in Ghana. We'll bring that to you. But, well, today, public health officials have been burying more bodies in unmarked graves here in Accra as the coronavirus continued to kill. Now, listen to Joseph Asitanga, coordinator and supervisor of COVID-19 burials for Greater Accra.
So we don't allow block work on the COVID bodies.
Why is that?
Bodies.
Okay.
Yes, why is that? When we put block work and cement the grave, it retards easy decomposition of the body.
Okay.
And the possibility of collection and evaporation of whatever organism that is there to also come to cause more sickness. So when we bury them on the earth ground, earth burial. That's why.
It means aside from family members not seeing the faces of their loved ones, they also do not have the luxury of their relatives being buried in marked graves. They are buried in unmarked graves.
Yes. One thing is that we are adopting something now. All the graves here, for the purpose of stigmatization, we did not allow labeling and naming of the graves. Yes, because when you get stand here, you see the site for COVID burial. So when we come to put somebody name here, so and so, on the grave here, it remains forever. Possibly in the grandchildren who are likely to come up. One day may be stigmatized that, oh, our father died out of this particular disease that crop hacked the country some time ago. And that can even go down by stigmatizing and making people to even get scared with that particular family. Gone are the days people associate some of these things to spiritualism. Yes, so we are trying to disabuse the minds of people that this is a natural disaster that has occurred. And as natural as it is, we try as much as best as possible to prevent labeling and naming the graves. Such that after the burial, if you want to come here, you still need to seek permission from the MPH, the Metro Public Health Department. And we don't even allow you to come here because once you've come to identify the grave and this is where they laid your family member to rest, that ends it. The gate is under key and locked. You cannot have access here.
So if you want access, you need permission from you?
Access is not even permitted to any family member to come and inspect anything here.
So how do the family members, if they want, some kind of coping mechanisms, just want to walk towards the grave, how do they identify the graves where their relatives were buried?
It is a protection to the family that government, for that matter, where the burial team of the various district assemblies is protecting the family. Because when you walk in and we allow that you come, the following day you come, you will see a family member coming to develop a grave here. They can do it overnight. They can do it any time that maybe we are not on duty. And if everybody start to label and develop the grave here, you can see we are now constrained with land. Apart from its infectious nature. So infectious site, no VOC, no block work. We do earth burials.
And so last week you buried how many bodies?
After that, indicated we buried 47. It's almost 48. We have not yet buried the last one.
So last week you buried about 6 here. You told me. So this is one of the sites. It has not been covered?
These are fresh graves waiting for burial. All these are waiting
so all these are fresh graves waiting for burial?
Waiting for burial. So when you look after the fresh graves, all these are burial. Ahead, all that is burial. And this is the Christian site. Solely for the Christian. So from here we go to the Muslim site where we did the other burials. Yes. All these graves are waiting for burial. COVID-19 has come to stay with us and it is there. It's real. The whole thing is that most of the things we observe the cultural and traditional norms of the various tribes that we come into encounter with. Or else we would have been doing the bare laying of the people from the mosque to the cemetery site for the whole world to see that this disease is real. The perception that the disease is not there, it is not true. Every day, before you are declared as a COVID-19 victim, the doctors will not benefit or take any profit for lying to you that you died out of COVID-19 when it's not COVID-19 that caused your death. So the public should be aware that every day the COVID-19 is killing people. Every day COVID-19, people are dying through COVID-19. And COVID-19 is living with us from where we live to where we do our business, wherever we are moving in our vehicles, whatever business activity, whatever daily activities we do, COVID-19 is moving with us. And therefore, it's better we still continue to understand that the disease is there. And therefore, whatever preventive and protocol measures that are prescribed by WHO, everybody should comply and go by it for us to help reduce the number of deaths that are coming. Because more deaths is likely to occur when we continue to perceive that the disease is not there.
Listen, COVID-19 is real and it's killing people are being buried, bodies are being buried in unmarked graves. And as you just described there, it is absolutely no respect of persons. You just ask Education Minister Dr. Malcho Poku Prempeh. He's been speaking today on Kokoroko Peace FM Morning Show. He says 45 out of every 50 workers at his ministry have tested positive for COVID-19. That translates into 90% of staff. Well, he spent 2 weeks at the University of Ghana Medical Center after himself became infected. Speaking to Kwame Sifakai on Peace FM, he warned the public to observe the various safety protocols. Here's a news desk report.
Some spent time in the ICU. They did not return. We should not pretend not to care because we and our families have not been infected. Some are even playing politics with it.
Dr. Opoku Prempeh warning COVID-19 is real.
What the President and the COVID-19 team are saying about social distancing and other protocols are not a joke. They are not a joke.
He said 45 out of 50 of his staff have tested positive and are isolating at home.
Many, not just some. Kwame, many of them have tested positive. Consider this, for every 50 staff, I can say that 45 tested positive.
At least he and 4 other family members tested positive and were admitted.
At some point, my brother who lives with me had to be admitted.
Dr. Opoku Prempeh and the rest of his family are expected to do another round of tests. Already, many senior high schools have begun recording cases. Asked for his response to calls for the shutdown of the schools, Dr. Opoku Prempeh said there's a stronger reason to keep the schools open.
No one contracted the disease in school. They took it there from home. If you consider the protocols, where is the best place to isolate or quarantine? So I don't agree with those saying we should shut down the schools.
So that is Dr. Malcho Poku Prempeh there speaking on Peace FM today. Still ahead here on Newsnight, the Electoral Commission to set up special registration centers in secondary schools to capture students who just turned 18 and above. But not all political parties are happy with the decision.
Other political parties also think the same, that the approach is very wrong, they are not following the law, and it doesn't make sense.
They, I know, will obviously kick against students registering.
Latest after business, and George joins me with the latest on the world of business. George, I tested, I offered my samples for COVID-19 testing 16 days ago exactly today, and I still haven't had any feedback from the, of course, health officials who took my samples. You did a test as well?
Yeah.
You tested?
Negative.
Negative, okay, good. I mean, so, yeah, it's...
But, you know, it's still not a guarantee to go back to sleep because, listen, you can test negative today, tomorrow you can be positive.
Absolutely.
So it's about boosting your immune system and also ensure that you comply by the various health protocols and all those things. And I think that is it because...
Yeah, and just hope and pray that somebody doesn't...
And even when you drive through sound, it's worrying because it looks like everyone has gone to sleep. People are out having fun, drinking, doing all sort of things. I mean, they've thrown this protocol to the dogs actually, and it's like, oh, it's back to normal. You know, this thing is far away from us. Nothing will happen to us, and all that. And that's where the concern is. And that's the Ghana Health Service is not saying that the workplace is not becoming a hotspot for it. I mean, this evening on PM Express, we're talking about this. I mean, should we take a second look at some of these protocols of the workplace and all the rest? So why don't you stay tuned and watch us on
PM Express? Should make a date with PM Express and George and others. George, what do you have in the headlines?
Well, events coming up in business. The Ghana Buffer Stock Company assures of strategies to actually ensure stabilized prices and enhance food security. And the Ghana Revenue Authority attributes the port clearance challenges to lack of understanding of the new systems for the ports. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you? And it has been 25 years of acting as a platform for the various regulators of the financial sector to reach out to the players.
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and lastly, I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. Compare where, compare there. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you know that the Electoral Commission is undertaking the compilation of a new voters register this year, so we will register again?
Every Ghanaian citizen of 18 years and above and of sound mind, ordinarily resident in an electoral area, is eligible to register.
What steps will be taken to ensure the safety of the applicants?
Every applicant must wear a face mask before entering the registration center. No face mask, no entry. You will wash your hands with soap under running water. Your temperature will be checked, while you maintain a minimum distance of 1 meter while in the queue. Your finger will be checked for an electoral stain to know if you've already registered before being sanitized. Your data will be captured on Form 1A. You will provide the officer with your residential address, your GPS address, your hometown address, your town and district, as well as the full names of your parents, dead or alive. Then you will be sent to the data entry clerk. The clerk will sanitize the scanner before capturing your fingerprints. He will then type your details into the biometric system, take your picture, and print the Form 1C and give it to you with the Form 1A. You will thumbprint the Form 1A in front of the laminating clerk. Then the clerk will cut out the card part of the Form 1C. Then laminate your new voter's ID card for you. Your finger will be dipped in an indelible ink. Hand sanitizers will be provided before you leave the registration center.
When are you going to register?
Daddy, I registered during the last electoral exercise, so I won't register again.
Don't you know that this is a total replacement of the old voters register? It means if you have registered before, you have to register again.
Hey.
You will need either a passport or your national ID card to register. If you don't have a passport or a national ID card, you must provide 2 already registered people to stand as your guarantors.
What about your mother who's too old to join the queue?
Vulnerable, persons with disability, older adults, pregnant and lactating mothers are not left out. Download the Voters Registration Form 1A from the Electoral Commission website, www.ec.gov.gh. Print it, fill it out, and bring it along with your passport, national ID card, or 2 guarantors to the district office of the Electoral Commission or to the registration center to register. Note that only the vulnerable, the aged, pregnant and lactating mothers will be allowed to print out their form online and bring it to the district office or the registration center.
Register to vote. Your vote is your power.
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Boost and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Boost and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
It is time, yes,
It's time again for each and every Ghanaian above 18 years to register to be able to vote. Let's all come out in our numbers in accordance with the protocols established in this COVID-19 era by the Electoral Commission to register and continue to vote for leaders who will positively reshape our country's destiny. Remember, it's 4 more for Nana. It begins with your registration today. You cannot vote unless you are eligible, and the only way is to get registered.
Joy 99.7 FM, radio for the discerning listener.
You're welcome back to Business on News. Now, the Ghana Buffer Stock Company says it has instituted measures that would help stabilize prices and food security in the country. Now, this follows proposals by the commodity research firm Soko that an efficient post-harvest system is needed to avert possible hikes in food prices in the coming weeks. Chief Executive of the Buffer Stock Company, Hanan Abdul-Walab, has been giving more details of some of these programs that have been put in place to help with the situation. He's speaking on Business Live on the Joy News channel.
80 number of such warehouses were awarded, 50 for Ministry of Special Development Initiative, 30 for Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Out of the 50 from Special Initiative, 32 number warehouses are ready. 30 from Ministry of Food and Agriculture, 40 number warehouses are ready. Each of the warehouses are 1,000 metric tons capacity. So we are adequately prepared.
Seeing that we good storage and enough storage capacity for our food, how do you think that it will also affect pricing?
Okay, so what we know for sure is that once we as a buffer stock company, we are able to, as part of our mandate, to keep government food reserves and also to release these food items in times where prices in the system are high, just to stabilize prices. So this is good for us in terms of stabilizing prices, because as we all anticipate a bumper harvest, we are going to buy more than what farmers can manage. That is the excess produce into our warehouses. So once we do that, meaning the government has some kind of strength sitting in our warehouses at any point in time where the prices, the market are going high, then we are mandated to release the food that we have in our warehouses into the system to stabilize prices. And of course,
as Chief Executive of the National Buffer Stock Company, Hanan Abdul-Wahab, speaking with my colleague Daraka on Business Live on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. Petroleum Commission is projecting significant revenue loss from the oil sector to the state. Now, this was after government postponed the licensing round for the sale of oil block, the country's new oil fields, because of the coronavirus. Chief Executive of the Petroleum Commission, Egbefebo, said the development calls for some new strategies to help stabilize the situation.
Oil and gas investors will likely be reluctant to commit an exploration budget to licensing rounds in the near term due to the economically challenging conditions and uncertainties created by COVID-19. Looking further ahead, the Commission expects that licensing round activities will be subject to significant uncertainties, stemming both from the unknown length of the COVID-19 demand shock and the duration of the current excess supply. Aker Energy was expected to submit its POD in Q2 2020 and subsequently make the final investment decision to commence the project. The oil production and revenue forecasts for the year have been significantly affected, largely due to the postponement of the Pecan development. According to Ghana's Ministry of Finance, the total estimated fiscal impact from the shortfall in petroleum receipts, shortfall in other tax revenue, the cost of the preparedness plan, and the cost of the coronavirus alleviation program is 21.42 billion Ghana cedis, or $3.89 billion US, which is 2.5% of revised GDP.
And that's the Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Commission, Egbefebo, speaking at the 10th anniversary program for the Africa Center for Energy Policy. And the Ghana Revenue Authority is attributing challenges with the clearance of goods at the port to lack of understanding of the process. Now, most importers continue to complain that they are struggling to clear their goods, blaming it on the new systems at the port. Now, speaking to Joy Business, Assistant Commissioner at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Emmanuel Ohene, says the problem rather has to do with understanding this whole structure that is operating at the ports.
Let me be the first to admit that the buy-in into the ICOMs initially was very low at the onset of the introduction of the ICOMs, and so people's appreciation of the system came in rather late. And so getting acclimatized to the system came in late as well. And that resulted in people not appreciating the process flows and the navigation through the system.
And that's the Assistant Commissioner at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Emmanuel Lohini. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you.
Hello.
Why you bed?
It's 5 a.m. Of course I bed. Lockdown.
Guy, some series that they watch for Netflix. Too much.
You woke up to comment.
Which can wake up? I've been watching from last night too.
you have data, eh?
Vodafone Adaroma. The too much bundles. Now be too much. See, Jock, make an ad screener to the Skype call, then buy you guys a story.
Too much data is now double the data at the same price. So you can stay home and stay connected on Vodafone with too much data for the day and too much bonus from midnight till 4 a.m. That's double Ankasa. Terms and conditions apply. Dial *700#. Subscribe now.
Ready?
Hey, I say, mix the cement in correct proportional.
Hey, contractor.
Hey, Baganye, what's your soul?
Yeah, Malande. Sorry, I say. When you attend the year of return, Ankasa. Hey, contractor. A danya wasting ye. Hey, what push mama me feeling too much?
Who project here? Me friend a gas them from top to down. If you are a gas them.
Hey, yes, solid pa.
Hey, you see gas them, man. And for soup in our do. On your quality no question. Extra gas them cement biara. I will cook a crab be. Over 5,000 plus communities. And a gas them. I donations. SCC schools, I built a clinic. Now, when a packaging now, what's Shadara and environmentally friendly?
Never compromise on quality. Choose the value Gassam offers you always. Gassam, the nation builder.
It is time, yes. It's time again for each and every Ghanaian above 18 years to register to be able to vote. Let's all come out in our numbers in accordance with the protocols established in this COVID-19 era by the Electoral Commission to register and continue to vote for leaders who will positively reshape our country's destiny. Remember, it's 4 more for Nana. It begins with your registration today. You cannot vote unless you are eligible, and the only way is to get registered.
It's live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy997 FM. My name is Evans Mensah. Now, starting tomorrow, the Electoral Commission will begin registering students in senior high schools across the country who just turned 18 and above. Now, the electoral body announced the decision at an emergency inter-party advisory committee meeting today, but not all political parties are in support of this. The exercise will start and end on Saturday. Will start, of course, tomorrow, but will end on Saturday, July 11, and aims to capture all eligible students into the register. But the problem is it's not been gazetted as all the other centres have been. And so how is the EC hoping to overcome that? We'll speak to the EC shortly. But Deputy General Secretary of the Opposition NDC, Peter Boamotokuno, described the decision by the Electoral Commission as a breach of the law.
Well, it is still a mystery what the EC wants to achieve in this country and what they want to achieve with this election. It is very bizarre. You have the case whereby you invite us to tell us that of all the gazetted registration centers where we will do the registration, where the registration is underway, you are going to send the machines to every single secondary school so that you can register the students as well in the schools. Now, the law says that every station that you send a machine to register must be a gazetted registration, and it should be a polling station. The law does not stop the Electoral Commission from creating additional centers, but you must follow the law and gazette those centers.
The governing MPP, however, agrees with the Electoral Commission. Let's bring in the Director of Electoral Services at the Electoral Commission, Mr. Sribo Kwaku. Thank you, sir, for your time here on Newsnight. Dr. Kwaku, so tell me, this, from the NDC's point of view, hasn't been gazetted. All the other centers have been. The law is clear on this. Isn't this a breach, as they say?
Thank you, Evans, and good evening to everybody. The schools are not going to be polling stations. The students are supposed to register at the nearby polling stations. But because there is a restriction on them, so instead of them going to the centers, we are going to register them and assign them those polling stations. So we are not going to assign them to ungazetted polling stations.
What does the law say exactly that you should do? Isn't the law clear that before you do this?
The law says we should gazette the registration centers.
Yes, but this is, you're going to register people. You're going to turn the schools into registration centers.
No, we are registering them for a gazetted registration center. So
sorry, say that again.
They will not have separate code. They will not have separate code. All the codes that will be given will be the police stations that if they had gone there themselves, that would be.
So what you're saying is that the existing registration centers close to the schools, they're just using those same codes to register the students in their schools.
Exactly.
But that's a way to circumvent the law.
No, you're not circumventing the law. What I'm saying, ideally, the student will have to go out of the campus to register at those places. But because there's restriction on them, so instead of them going to the center, we are going to register them and put them at those centers. So it's the same thing.
Why wasn't this anticipated at the start when you were launching the program?
When we were gazetting somewhere, I think 25th of May, we never knew the school were going to do that. Whatever it is, we were not going to gazette those schools because they are not polling stations. We are not going to gazette them because the existing polling stations that have been gazetted as registration centers. And nobody will vote in these schools. They will vote at where the polling stations are known polling stations and gazetted ones.
Okay, and these polling stations will be close to the schools. But the question then becomes, when school vacates, they're done with their exams and they're home for December 7, they will have to travel back to come and vote in these places.
Either they will come or they can transfer their votes.
Thank you very much. Dr. Srebo Kweku is the Director of Electoral Services there. Well, so listen to Newsland. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. I want to take you to Hohoi because the first edition of the Joy Ballot Box goes on tomorrow, and already the enthusiasm around it in the voter region is huge. The show offers voters the opportunity to share what will inform their voting choices. Now, the ballot box team has pitched camp in the town of Hohoi for the past 24 hours. The ballot boxes have been placed at the forecourt of the Hohoi Central Police Station, the Hohoi and Bando Municipal Assemblies ahead of tomorrow's program. Some residents have been speaking about this. We'll bring that to you. My colleague, Winston Amwa, is joining me via Zoom now. Winston, I can see from the visuals I'm getting that people are really pumped up for this.
Exactly, Evans. People are gearing up for tomorrow. They're very excited that ballot box has come back, and they've been sharing with us, what would influence your choices. You know that voting ended not long ago, and we've started with a coalition, and so we don't have a lot of issues now. But the exit polls has actually told us what would be influencing the decisions that people may come December 7th, 2020.
And Key, run us through some of them. What are some of the things? I know you've been interacting with them. What struck you?
Yes. Well, the first thing they told me was that that's to mean, I believe you saw the road, because driving to Hohoi, you are going to use the Eastern Corridor Road, and it's in such a deplorable state. And so they've been talking about the nature of their roads. They've also been talking about issues to do with, persons with disability have been talking about issues to do with increase in their share of the common fund from 3% to 5%. And one other thing that has caught our attention that people have been talking about is the handling of COVID-19. Evans, people are concerned that school children are at home, and so they would want to see effective handling of COVID-19. They would want to see measures that are going to be put in place to ensure that Ghana is able to beat COVID-19, so that for particularly the women, their children can go back to school. We've also been talking about, policies to do with the development of entertainment and sports within the Hohoi municipality, particularly the youth. They believe that developing those sectors will lead to the creation of employment for young people, particularly, and also others who are older. And there's also been talk about policies to end streetism, Evans.
So what time tomorrow is the show live? It's on TV and it's on Joy FM as well.
Well, it's starting at exactly 5 p.m. sharp. It ends at 7 p.m. at the old municipal assembly.
Within strict COVID-19 protocols.
Exactly, strictly by invitation.
Strictly by invitation. Wasting, thank you very much. The groundbreaking show is live tomorrow. You want to make a date with that. Hello, Benedict. He has sports. What's the latest from the world of sports, Benedict? Also joins us on Zoom.
Yes, Evans. Now, the Champions League returns in August, featuring a mini tournament of knockout games to decide the winner. Now, on Friday, that's tomorrow, the draw will take place for the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and the finals, and with all matches set to take place in Lisbon. So the semi-finals, quarterfinals games, as well as the final game will be played in Lisbon. And you know, Chelsea are both aiming to take part in that mini tournament by securing a last 8th place in early August. Chelsea are up against Bayern Munich in the second leg of their last 16 tie, as well as Manchester City and Real Madrid. Well, tonight some games are currently ongoing in the English Premier League already. Bournemouth, their game against Tottenham Hotspur, they are drawing goalless. Everton are also drawing 1-1 with Southampton, and later your Manchester United, you come up against Aston Villa. And also we'll have Mallorca, they are playing against Levante, is 1-0 in favor of Mallorca, and then Eibar Leganés also at halftime, they are drawing goalless with Athletic Bilbao and Sevilla to come later. That's your Sports Evans.
Well, Benedict, thank you very much. Now, he's known to use rich folk idioms and poetry in his music, which made Ghanaians love him when he entered the music industry. He's Komti Hene, and if you don't know any of his songs, well, let me try to juggle your memory. Listen.
Emmanuel Nanapia Boateng, aka Komti Hene, is a hip life artist noted for his use of rich folk idiom, metaphors, and poetry in his music. Komti Hene learned to play the piano at a very young age and can play the saxophone as well. By age 10, Komti Hene was already writing poems and songs that discussed his family life. Encouraged and mentored by a local musician named Tommy Rarida, Komti Hene learned how to channel his feelings through his music.
If someone understands a gift, what they do is that they pay close attention to it.
As he grew older, his love for music developed into a true talent. Although his mother wanted him to become a pastor, Komti Hene could not ignore his passion.
I don't record desperate songs that I need to chase them all the time, you know, because I know that if I release a song today and you don't feel it, I'll give you time. You'll catch up with the song.
Komti Hene is known to have helped introduce Jama or cheer songs into Ghanaian music cycles through his debut hit, Aketesia.
And that's my personal favorite of Komti Hene. That's the one I know about. Well, that's it for News Night tonight. As I leave you, I'll leave you with a taste of what's to come tomorrow on the Joy Ballot Box, that groundbreaking, research-driven program that gives you a sample of what people are thinking and the issues that will influence your vote come December 7 as they interact with the duty bearers tomorrow. It's between 5 and 7 p.m. here on Joy997 FM and on the Joy News channel.
We hope to meet them tomorrow, and then we air much of our concerns there too.
We've talked about, the fact that we are looking at persons, or they're looking at political parties that will be addressing issues that concern them, issues of accessibility. Let me just get one other person to tell us what some of those issues that we'll be looking at would be. Let me quickly get to him here and find out from him. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So do tell us, your preparation, what your expectations are tomorrow, and some of the issues that will be influencing your choices in this year's election.
Okay, thanks so much for the opportunity. For some of the issues that will be moving our vote as persons with disability, we want to say that in Hokwa municipality, one thing is also which is very dear to our heart is the Eastern Corridor Road.